if you have 5 listeners and you're grateful for those 5 listeners and being able to serve them every single week or every single day, but you're sitting there grateful that you can serve these 5 people, you have a lower expectation and a higher amount of gratitude, you're going to be happy.
Most hosts never achieve the results they hoped for. They're falling short on listenership and monetization, meaning their message isn't being heard and their show ends up costing them money. This podcast was created to help you grow your listenership and make money while you're at it. Get ready to take notes. Here's your host, Adam Adams.
This week, I saw a reel on social media. I don't know if they're called reels or stories or what, but this week I saw one and it was profound, if you will. It was an author of a book who was talking about how people become unhappy. Like, what is it that makes you an unhappy person? And he started talking about basically the dynamic between 2 different things. And I can't quote him, and I'm not going to take credit for it. But unfortunately, I'm not going to quote him. I don't remember where it was or how to find it. Anyway, he talked about the difference between our expectations and our gratitude. And he basically says, like, we're extremely happy people if we have very low expectations and very high gratitude. And we're still happy if we have high expectations, so long as our gratitude is a little bit bigger. And we're still happy when our gratitude is not very high, but our expectations are even smaller. What is the point? What is the common ground here? The common ground is when you are more grateful than you have expectations, then you're going to be happy. And this, I know, goes into many, many forms of your life, your podcast. If you have an expectation of, I want 1 million listeners, and then you have 100,000 people listening, you're going to be like, I need 10 times that. And you're going to be crying. You're going to be sad. You're going to be depressed. Why? The reason why is because your expectation was set pretty high and your gratitude wasn't there. Now, if, for example, you have 5 listeners and you're grateful as heck for those 5 listeners and being able to serve them every single week or every single day, depending on how often you publish your podcast, but you're sitting there grateful that you can serve these 5 people, you have a lower expectation and a higher amount of gratitude, you're going to be happy. Now, I want to talk a little bit about, our title today is Turn Your Expectation into Appreciation. Turn the expectation into appreciation. So again, if your appreciation or your gratitude is high and your expectations are low, you're going to be great. So when you're dating somebody, you want to have a low expectation. Like if you're thinking, oh, I'm going to get lucky tonight, for example, and you don't, well, maybe you're going to be depressed and maybe you're going to think that it was a bad date. I don't know who you are or what you think, but let's just use that as an example. Let's say that you are the type of person who definitely wants to get married and you're with somebody who doesn't want to get married. And the thing that you think is, man, I don't have everything that I want. I don't have everything I want. I expect this. I expect marriage or whatever. You're going to be ungrateful and you're going to have high expectations. So are you going to be happy or sad? You're going to be sad. Let's look at all those people that complain all the time. Think about somebody that you know. Maybe it's more than one person that you know, but just maybe even close your eyes if it's safe. Think about somebody who is always complaining. Well, that person has their gratitude level is way too low. They need to start freaking appreciating some shit, don't they? Need to start looking at the world and seeing how great the world is. Now, there is optimists and there's pessimists. And you might say, no, I'm neither. I'm a realist. I assume you probably are thinking that you're a realist because everybody says that they're a realist, but really they're either an optimist or a pessimist. And so if you're looking at things and you're always looking at the bright side of stuff, you're probably going to be more grateful. You're going to be happy about any situation. So that means your expectation about things is probably not too high. It might be high and it might be low. That part doesn't matter. What matters is that your gratitude level or your appreciation is higher. So when I was years ago, and of course, 5-ish years ago, I started turning this around. I was the father, and sometimes it makes me cry to think about this, but I was that dad who had my kids, and they always wanted to show me stuff. They were like, Dad, look at this. Look what I built. Look what I made. Look what I drew. Look what I can do with my marbles. And I'll be honest, like my expectation was probably too high because they were really young. They were really, really, really young back then. And I was like, okay, you put a piece of wood on and the marble just rolls off and you think that's cool? That's not that cool. And I didn't say it to their face. I wasn't saying that, but I'm thinking like, okay, wow, good job. And here I am being like, man, I just wish I could work more. If I just didn't have my kids, then I could really make a lot of money. And it's just too bad this. And I was the pessimist. I was the person who had higher expectations. I wanted to be a multi-millionaire, and I didn't have high enough gratitude. I thought my kids were holding me back. And what ended up happening is I got fat, I got lazy, I got overweight, I got angry, I yelled at the kids. Our relationship got weak because I had low gratitude. Then I turned around and I started practicing gratitude in the morning. So I would, and in night, and anytime I was stressed. So there was 3 times that I had to practice gratitude. Before I got out of bed, when I got in bed, before I went to sleep. And a lot of people do this with prayer. Now, I don't pray, but I try to express gratitude. I try to have a relationship with God or the universe or nature or many gods or who knows, but I try to spend that time to be grateful. And so in 5-ish years ago, as I record this, I came to a day that somebody said, you need to start practicing gratitude. And I did. And my relationship got better and everything else got better. My health got better. I started making more money, etc. The points that we're trying to make is I need you to also turn your expectation into appreciation, because when you do that, you're going to have a better chance of actually being happy. And if you're happy, what's going to happen? Your health will be better. Your relationships will be better. Your business will be better. And your podcast will be better. So this doesn't only apply to your podcast. This doesn't only apply to yourself. This applies to all of the family that you're around, all of the relationships that you have. Business relationships, loving relationships, romantic relationships, family relationships. It's going to increase that because you express some gratitude. Now, I'm not saying that you're going to turn into this optimist that's always being like, oh, everything's great all the time. I'm not saying you have to be like unreal about it. I'm just saying that when you look at the bright side, when you count your blessings, when you see where some people are, maybe you have to think about a different country. Maybe you have to think about human trafficking. Who knows what you have to think about? You have a shit ton of things that you should be very, very grateful for. And when you bring your gratitude level above your expectation level, everything else will fall into line. Looking forward to seeing you on the next episode. Don't go anywhere. I'll see you there. Oh, hey, because 3 of my clients came to me recently looking to find a way to have their podcast make the money instead of cost them money, we put together a resource for some of our clients, and I want to give it to you as well. It's something that did actually seem to help, because one of them is now making $2,600 a month, another one's $4,500 a month, and the third is making between $5,000 and $10,000 each month. And so it's been a resource that's been incredibly valuable to them. It's our sponsor sheet template. It's a template of a sponsor sheet, and it gives you something that you can hand to potential sponsors and hopefully also be making $2,600, $4,500, or between $5,000 and $10,000 regularly each month with your podcast. So this has been a contributing factor to helping all 3 of those clients turn their podcast into an additional income stream for them. And the way that you can find it is just going to our website, growyourshow.com, but put in /templates, growyourshow.com/templates. And then you can actually download that template and others that could be valuable to your podcasting experience. I'll see you on the next episode.